Hello and welcome to Tea Break Film Reviews, where we drink tea and talk about films. My name's Michelle, and I'm here with fellow film buff Victoria, and today we are going to discuss the 2023 Oscar nominees and give our predictions as to who might win. It is worth noting we haven't been able to find and watch every single film nominated in each category, but we will take that into account when giving our predictions.
No, our predictions are law.
Yes, our predictions are what counts. Obviously, we're
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
important in the film industry. We know our
We
stuff.
write down the names. Who wins? Who is it?
Yeah.
It's our decision.
I mean, as some of you may have been following, we've caught up with the Best Picture nominees, so that, I think, is a good place to start. If you missed our reviews, then they're available on the channel. This is the 8th stream we've done, so there is 7 reviews that you are free to watch, and that'll be most of the Best Picture nominees. The rest of them, the rest of the 3 that we haven't done, I have done reviews for when they came out, because it's been a year. It has been a year.
Yeah, true.
So,
Time's crazy, huh?
yeah. All of these
Weird.
2022 films, I forget it's 2023, frankly. All the time.
Yeah, honestly.
Living in the past. Okay.
Time is a made-up construct, you know?
Yes. So,
what is even day?
Hello, welcome Rahul. This is going to be fun. And I do have tea, so, you know, I'm here for the brand.
I have water.
It's alright, I understand.
I'm cheating this time. I don't have my chocolate milk.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a new age.
Alright, Best Picture. What
Best
are you
Picture?
thinking?
Okay.
We've got, let me run through them. We've got All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking.
Okay, I can knock some out. I know I can knock some out. Avatar, Tar.
Get out of here.
Get
No, thank you.
Get out of there.
Avatar, I definitely agree, and I think Tar, not for Best Picture. Has its merits.
It's a good conversation starter.
Yes, but it's not Best Picture.
I don't think it's up to that standard. Really, there's just not enough happening in it. It feels like a mulligan if you give it to them. It feels like, for me at least.
Hello, welcome Neo, welcome Golden.
So we all know that I absolutely adore All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yes, I too.
I believe, I've been saying since I saw it that I believe that they should win everything, win all of the awards. I've said that so many times.
Yes.
And I think that if Everything Everywhere All at Once was made next year, All Quiet on the Western Front would win. But I believe from all the winning and everything that that Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably going to take it home.
Yes. Rahul and Golden agree with you.
They have have you been watching it?
Let's have a look.
What's been happening with the awards?
Let's have a look at everything. To be fair, All Quiet on the Western Front has been doing very well, especially at the BAFTAs. But Everything Everywhere, the amount of nominations it's gotten. Let's have a look.
Swept the SAG Awards. They swept the SAG Awards.
All right,
the only thing they lost to was the stunts in Top Gun, and then they swept the rest.
Okay, it was released May 13th of last year. So not even a whole year has passed. And this is what they have received. Not only do they have nominations for 11 Oscars, but they have 336 wins and 355 nominations. Wow.
Wait, can you just repeat that? What
336 wins and 355 nominations.
what holds the record for the most wins of
Ooh.
like an award season? I wonder.
I don't know. The thing is, when you look at IMDb and check out what the festivals are, there are a lot of pretty niche festivals. I'm like, this
True.
is a broad picture. Most of these festivals nobody's ever going to have heard of, but still, it's
I mean,
impressive.
I mean that's I mean that's fair because Triangle of Sadness was blown up from one of those, right?
Can, one of the biggest ones, certainly, one of the most famous.
Yeah. So, which I have they even won anything? Triangle Sad like what have they won? Triangle
Let's
Sadness.
see. Apart from the Palm, the thing is, the Palm d'Or is very important in the film industry, so I understand its weight. But in comparison, Triangle of Sadness is nominated for 3 Oscars. It's had 20 wins and 67 nominations. So the disparity between the two of them, it's worlds apart.
Yeah, yeah.
But we did say
Uh
in our review of that it's quite a niche film.
yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I bet that's one of the ones that's going to have a huge cult following.
Hmm. I think it
Uh
will, like you said, I think it will be between All Quiet and Everything Everywhere.
I think those are the biggest ones. Those are the ones that are the front runners. Like as well as Colin Farrell did in wait, no, I'm not paying attention.
Colin Farrell and Banshees, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Uh is that on? Yeah.
It is
As
nominated.
well as he did, and I think that was one of his best roles I've ever seen
Hmm.
him do. Uh I don't think he's really or that they are really in the running compared to All Quiet on the Western Front and Everything Everywhere All at Once. It just took it away. And I think the third one is gonna be Fableman. Those are my three picks.
Yeah.
Win, play, show. Right there.
The Fablemans, the thing is with Spielberg, and with historically many nominees for Best Picture, they do like a good film about Hollywood, about the film industry in America. It's a very popular topic to get nominated. Obviously,
Yeah,
the Oscars have the history of it, and that's a big impact on it. And The Fablemans, for me, is probably the most genuine and entertaining portrayal of Hollywood
absolutely.
that I've seen. Because we've
Absolutely.
had big, bombastic ones, quite caricature ones. We've had it all. At this point, we know
I
what
watched
early
one
Hollywood.
recently. I watched one recently that was wild.
What did you watch?
Uh it was the new or the Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt
Babylon.
Babylon. Yeah. Somehow out of a 3-hour movie they put too much in it.
Yeah. But the topic, once again, like
Yeah,
you said,
very
it's a
nostalgic.
very popular topic. So
Yes. Absolutely.
if The Fablemans manages to grab Best Picture, it's going to be based on that alone. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think it it could. You never know with the Oscars. The thing is, some of these get a wild pick goes in there,
True.
and you would have
True.
never predicted it.
I
But you're
totally
right.
forgot about
If it is
Elvis.
gonna be something else, it's probably gonna be The Fablemans. Everybody loves Spielberg, right?
Yeah. True. True.
Uh
Though I
uh
totally
uh.
forgot about Elvis
Mm-hmm.
in the running. So actually I want to replace the Fablemans with Elvis. I think Elvis has a better chance of getting third.
I think Elvis has a
Honestly.
better chance of winning director and actor as opposed to Best Picture.
That's valid. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can agree with that. I can absolutely agree with that.
Because definitely in my review, I rip Tom Hanks to shreds because, God, I love that
Oh,
actor, but this is a very, very bizarre portrayal of a real person. Doesn't feel real. That was my problem.
Tom Tom Hanks reaches a standard in all of his films. I have not watched a film where he has not reached his standard. And
Hmm.
then for like other films, he goes above his standard, you know?
Certainly.
And this was one that was like bottom of his standard.
It's not that he wasn't entertaining, and it's
Not at
certainly an
all.
interesting character, but throw this character in maybe like a fantasy or one of the very popular live action adaptations of fairy tales and Disney stuff. He'll fit perfectly in that world, but not when you're trying to show Elvis, you know?
Yeah.
But it's interesting mentioning RRR. Yes. And Rahul already knows this because he's been pushing it from the start. I have watched RRR and I did
Yeah.
really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I I did. I think it would be difficult for that film to make an impact on these awards shows that are very Western, certainly.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I would love to
Because
have seen it nominated.
right, that would have been a wonderful lineup.
Because I think the more people who were to see it, just like we were talking about All Quiet in terms of having a non-English film nominated and bringing
Mhm.
people over to watch it and appreciate it. If RRR had been nominated, then so many more people would have been able to experience a Bollywood film
Absolutely.
that is so over the top, so outrageous, so fun.
Uh, but I did hear that they will be performing one of the original songs at the Oscars.
Amazing.
Yeah, so even though they didn't get the nomination, they're still getting to perform at least.
Yes.
I think that's wonderful.
That is wonderful. The more diversity, the merrier for the Oscars,
Yes.
certainly.
Yes.
It's not historically not had a good run in terms of how diverse their nominations are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that covers Best Picture. I'm gonna
Yeah.
because the Oscars
Uh,
website have for some reason put Best Picture almost at the bottom, but not at the
yeah, I
bottom.
had
It's
to
a bit
scroll
weird.
all the way to the bottom, dude.
I'm just gonna go all the way back at the top, and we'll just go down.
Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense.
So, actor in a leading role. We've got Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nye for Living. So, what have you
Okay.
seen, not seen?
I've seen Elvis and Banshees of Inisherin.
Okay.
So mine is like a 50-50 right now.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yes, I watched The Whale yesterday. I'm watching After Sun tomorrow because the cinema near me is doing like re re-screening all of the Oscars stuff. So I haven't,
Nice. That's awesome.
but I have seen Living as well. The only one I haven't seen is After Sun, and I know that it's been getting a lot of good reviews for Paul Mescal's performance. But yes, as Neo says, I think Brendan Fraser might take it.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal in The Whale.
Okay. That's wonderful to hear.
Phenomenal in different ways to say Austin Butler. Because in Elvis, I am so impressed by how he
Absolutely.
became Elvis. It's just so mesmerizing to watch him on screen.
It was. Absolutely. Yeah.
But then,
Especially well, also I loved how they presented the film for that.
mhm.
Uh it was just wonderful.
And although they did show a bit of the more serious parts of his life, but for the most part, Lerman kept it quite jubilant and festive in Elvis. But certainly, as the main character, he is the film. The film couldn't have
Absolutely.
existed without him, so that was some absolutely excellent casting.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
So he might take it. It's really impressive, and the fact that I mean, he knew how to sing, but he wasn't Elvis, but he
Yeah.
learned how to sing like him and talk like him and change his voice and the dancing and the performances while still being present in the scenes with other actors. Like absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I was blown away by his performance. Honestly,
Hmm.
he did wonderfully. I Actually, I do have something to bring up about Elvis. I have
Go
some
on.
things. I have a few things that I want to point out during the movie that happened that
Hmm.
put me off a little bit. Um, it was okay. Did you notice that it was mostly shot like a comic book film? It was like a comic.
I see what you
It was
mean.
like
Yeah.
it was like Sin City.
Yeah, it was, but much more
Uh,
colorful.
yes. Uh, it was just shot like a comic book movie, which is fine. I like it's a good theme to have in a
Hmm.
movie, sure. Although with how in your face it was, I don't think it necessarily uh lived up to its name in some ways. Also the transition into the Doja Cat song felt very awkward for me.
It has it. The thing is with Baz Luhrmann, I love him as a director. He's definitely up my alley in terms of I like watching his films, and it's some of the
Hmm.
few musicals I enjoy because sometimes I find musicals very like they distance you as soon as they start singing. It depends on the person, but
Yeah.
it's just a personal experience. So he does very well to incorporate the music in the drama. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, Elvis is an interesting one. That's why I think with any Elvis nomination, it's going to be a 50-50 as to whether people liked it or not. It's far less
Yeah.
easy to say, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
But certainly, I think Austin Butler has a great chance.
Yes.
And I Paul Mescal might get it, but I don't know. I will watch the film tomorrow. I might change my prediction then, but I understand he did very well in that. It's a British feature film about a father and a daughter, and I'm sure it pulls on the heartstrings. So I'd be curious to see
Okay.
what happens there. And
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser, I think The Whale in general does some amazing work in showing obesity in a more, I want to say, a flattering light, more so the human side to it,
Hmm.
and considering how beautifully how beautiful the film is, the messages it's trying to put across. Um, Brendan Fraser is just a wonderful part of that. So maybe, but certainly of actors who have done a phenomenal job in like a lengthy getting into a character sort of way, then I think Elvis is, Austin's going to take it. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right.
Uh,
Shall we
I
do?
honestly hope Brendan Fraser wins.
He is just what a lovely man.
Wonderful. He's wonderful.
He
I've
is.
loved him since The Mummy. I remember my mother and I snuck into the movie theater to watch The Mummy while my family was watching something else.
Worth it. That was a good
Yeah,
decision.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, actor in a supporting role. We have Brendan Gleeson, not to be confused with Brendan Fraser. A lot of Brendans in this. Brendan Gleeson from The
Right.
Banshees of Inisherin. So he plays Colm.
Colm,
Brian
okay.
Tyree Henry from Causeway. Judd Hirsch in The Fablemans. Barry, God damn it, Keegan? I think you pronounce
Yeah,
that name
I think
Keegan.
so.
From Banshees again. And Ki Hui Kwan from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I hope Ki Hu Kwan wins
That's the fan favorite, isn't it?
immediately.
I
Yes, absolutely.
It's unlikely anyone else is going to win,
Yeah. Yeah.
really.
Oh
All
wait,
right.
who was Barry? Who'd Barry play?
The kid.
Dominic?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot his name. That's wonderful.
I'm happy
I
he
saw
got
that he won
nominated.
an award recently for something.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong, both Banshee's performances great, but everything that he's going to take it. It's
Yeah.
of that film's performances, he's won the hearts of all the fans
Yeah.
basically.
Absolutely.
It would be strange to not give it to him. Judd
Yeah.
Hirsch, though. Let me just see Judd Hirsch. So Judd Hirsch is an interesting one. Judd Hirsch is the uncle that visits the Fablemans.
Oh, oh
So,
no.
do can we justify a 10-minute performance of
Mm,
of a 3-hour film? I am
yeah,
happy he's nominated. He makes the biggest impact in that film for the tiny amount of screen time he has.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but
He was
yeah,
definitely a
what's
powerhouse character.
certainly and a great performance. I really like the nominations. I like the nominations
Yeah.
here. Um, but yeah, I think Kiko Kwan
Keiki
is he's
Kwan.
gonna take it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Waymond, 100%.
Yeah. Let's move on to actress in a leading role. We've got Miss Kate Blanchett for Tar, Anna de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fablemans, and Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Is it another sweep for Everything Everywhere?
I feel like it will be.
I think so too.
Um, for the Blonde movie, I did watch some of that. I did not finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because of the portrayal of Marilyn Monroe. The actress, from what I saw, did wonderfully,
Yep.
other than some like little flubs with the accent, I think. But that was just like me over analyzing it. I think at that point I was just really annoyed with the movie. So that might have been why I didn't really like her performance. But
Yep.
well, I mean, I did like her performance, but I didn't like just the story,
Mm-hmm.
how it pushed it.
I think Rahul makes a good point. Michelle Yeoh versus Kate Blanchett is a fair fight
Mm-hmm.
considering Kate carries the entire film. It's about that character. It is that
Yeah,
character. But
yeah,
Michelle Yeoh, she in an interview she says that this was one of the first scripts that let her explore such a variety of characters and such, the comedy especially. She said, well, no, no one's ever no one's ever approached me with comedy, and she's really funny. She's great.
yeah.
So I think she does deserve the win. I think she is more than shown how capable she is
She's very
in this
deserving of
film.
it.
I think so. Because Kate
Yeah,
Blanchett, nobody can deny she's amazing. But this is
yeah,
not her best
absolutely.
film. I would say
No,
great performance, not the best film. That's the problem.
great performance, great conversation starter, but I wouldn't say that that was her best role.
No. And I think that just like with Ana de Armas, it's because the film harms the performance.
Yeah, there's 4 minutes of black and white credits.
Yeah.
4 minutes.
And To Leslie, I haven't watched, but that is on my list. So maybe
Okay.
Andrea Riseborough is phenomenal. I don't know. We can't weigh in on that one,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But let's move on. Oh,
You're correct, Neo.
oh,
Completely
yes.
correct. Blonde
Terribly
was a
told story.
terribly told story. I cannot get behind you anymore.
Indeed. Okay, actress in a supporting role. We've got Angela Bassett from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow from The Whale, Kerry Condon in The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Stephanie Sue in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Both of them.
Ooh, that's
What
spicy,
what a collection of actors.
right?
Hmm. Okay, I'll weigh in on The Whale since I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
She's great. She plays a nurse, so she has a
Okay.
very important role in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And she provided some great balance to Brendan Fraser. I think they did well together as a team um, for that story. But with competition like Jamie Lee Curtis on the board,
Right.
one of my favorite actresses ever.
The Scream Queen. Come
The
on.
Scream Queen. And man, let me have a look. If I'm not mistaken, she hasn't had a nomination before.
No,
And
I think she won an
she's
award, didn't she, at the SAGs?
I mean for the Academy Awards.
Oh, okay.
I don't think she has. Considering
Okay.
how expansive, important, and fun her career has been, and for her impact on cinema, you
Hmm.
know, I
Yeah.
think she deserves it, frankly, for how she's
I
done.
want to fight you on that. I think
Fight
Stephanie
me, go on.
too.
That
Stephanie,
that's fair enough too.
I
She,
hope she wins over Jamie Lee Curtis just because this was an amazing role for her. I think she
yeah,
really deserves it. Like Jamie Lee Curtis deserves all the praise. She's won her awards, you
true,
know.
true. I guess it depends what direction it's going for.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Just, I will say, I haven't watched Wakanda Forever.
I haven't
I'm
either.
very. I pushed myself before the latest Spider-Man movie to watch all the Marvel films, and I'm a bit marveled
Oh
out,
God,
frankly.
why did you do that? You like before you make that decision, message me first. Jeez. I'll tell you it's a bad idea.
They're consider okay. On the topic of Marvel, some of them are all right. Mainly, I like the Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies, but I'm not.
Mhm.
I'm no longer. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah. No, it's too much. The whole Marvel universe. It's a lot.
Yeah. So apologies to Angela Bassett. You're probably great in the film. And frankly,
Absolutely.
the performances are usually pretty solid in the Marvel films.
Yeah,
Solid, I
absolutely.
wouldn't say exceptional. Solid, yes.
Yeah.
But
They have a script and they stick to it.
I don't think considering her fellow nominees that she'll get it. Considering the sweep that Everything Everywhere is doing, even if it's not
Yes.
down to our opinions. Obviously, it isn't down to our opinions. Even if
That's
it,
the quitter in you talking.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I think just in general, talking about which films have the most buzz around them, it's highly likely that one of the Everything Everywhere actresses will get it.
Absolutely. I think it's a fight between the two,
Yeah.
honestly.
And of course, with all of these predictions and all of these nominations, it's not that that all of them are deserving, but
Mhm.
that's an award ceremony. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Animated feature film is next. It's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes on, Puss in Boots. I can't believe that's on there. Puss in Boots, The Sea Beast, and Turning Red. And I have only seen Pinocchio and Turning Red, so
Ah, I beat you. I've seen 3 of these.
I will watch Marcel the Shell with Shoes on, not only because it's such a fun name, but because I can. I just haven't had time to.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. It's on my list, absolutely.
What's the third one you watch then?
Okay, so I've seen Pinocchio,
Yep.
I've seen The Sea Beast, and Turning Red.
How was the Sea Beast?
It was fun. It's a solid kids movie. I enjoyed it, but like nothing
Hmm.
overarching about,
Hmm.
Turning Red had a huge buzz when it came out. Do you remember that?
Yep. Yep.
And it is a really good movie, and it's a good conversation about puberty.
Yes, I did enjoy Turning Red. I watched it as part of my um advent calendar challenge in December,
Okay.
and I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I think it was a bit heavy-handed with the connection to womanhood, getting your period and all of that.
That's valid, but I
It's a
mean,
bit much.
a lot of the time with kids movie, you have to do that.
I
It
suppose
feels
so,
like,
but
it like the
I don't know. I'm used to the
yeah,
subtlety of Pixar because Pixar
that's
will
very valid.
absolutely wreck you. The kids will
Yeah.
love it, and then the adults will be crying. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's
Absolutely. Yeah, I can
exceptionally.
totally agree with that. You're right. Absolutely.
Pinocchio, though, I think has a very good chance because of the
Oh
motion.
my god, it should win.
What is it called? What is the animation style called?
Claymation?
Yeah, the
Oh, stop
claymation,
motion?
the stop motion.
Mhm.
The amount of
Yeah, it
man
is beautiful.
hours
I
that went into
absolutely
that.
adore I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely
Mm-hmm.
adore that movie. Oh my god! And then Ewan McGregor's in it, right?
Of course.
He's
He's
the
just the
cricket, Jimmy
best
Cricket.
voice.
Hmm.
It's highly likely that Guillermo is gonna get it for sure. Especially since it's
Yeah, I
not your bog
agree.
standard Pinocchio. It actually provides something new, which I think people will enjoy.
That is definitely the breakaway one in that
Hmm.
section. I think that one's gonna win hands down.
Yeah,
It
as
has won
Rahul
every
says,
award.
it has. It's won. It's been doing it's been doing the rounds.
Oh, let's wait. I want to see this. What is it? Uh,
Oh, Rahul, yeah, I just read your Angela versus Jamie argument, and for sure, if they're going for length of career, then that's a fair fight there. But it really depends what kind of person they want to award.
okay, Jamie Lee Curtis has done better roles. She's acted better, in
That's
different
true. That's
roles.
true. I
I
think
think.
it's
I think we should
just
be thinking about that necessarily.
it's just because it's the buzz of the film, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the hot dog fingers. Let's be
Must
real.
be if that's gonna win it for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the hot dog fingers all along.
Okay.
Uh
Cinematography. All Quiet on the Western Front.
Hands
Bardo.
down. I don't care. I don't care.
Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, which is, I believe, by an in a in a root in oh god damn it, these names I struggle over. Inaratu? Inarutu. Anyway, I'm sorry for butchering the name, but yes, very famous director, his latest film. Got Elvis, Empire of Light, and Tar. I have not seen Empire of Light or Bardo. Bardo was also on my list. I did go to watch it because it is on Netflix, and then I saw it's almost 3 hours long, and oh my god, I really can't.
Stop with the epics.
It puts me in such a bad mood to even. I was so looking forward to it. I was going like, I've got 2 hours. I'm gonna sit down and watch a film, and then I couldn't. So,
Oh, I hate when that happens.
All Quiet on the Western Front is highly likely.
Yes. I
However,
think that one's gonna win.
if I mean war films, there's only so creative you can go in the
Yeah.
trenches. You know,
Hmm.
perhaps perhaps it won't be cinematography that will take it. There will be other awards that will reward the visuals, like the production design, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I will say that Elvis has a very specific type of style, which again may be attributed to the editing, maybe that one. I
Mm.
don't actually know who's nominated, but maybe they'll kind of spread the awards that way. Not that any of these are bad, it's just a case of which part of the composition are they going to award? Like, who's
Yeah.
responsible for
Yeah.
achieving the
You're
look?
correct.
So,
Yeah.
All Quiet, certainly, especially if you watch the documentary on Netflix, the cinematography
I
was
haven't
pretty
watched it yet.
interesting.
I need to. Well,
But the makeup on that thing was phenomenal. So, I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
yeah.
Be interesting to see
Yeah,
who gets
it's definitely
cinematography.
between Elvis and All Quiet, hands
Well,
down. Those are the two contenders, in my
unless
opinion.
Empire of Light does anything very interesting, which we don't know about.
True.
Um,
That's very true.
but
Sam
yeah.
Mendes.
Oh yeah, Sam Mendes. Okay, so these are all pretty at the forefront films. That's why I was talking about
Yeah.
Bardo as well. Okay, let me check.
Okay.
Yes, I was right. In Inarritu, Alejandro Inarritu,
Okay.
very famous. Yeah, I didn't even realize Sam Mendes was Empire of Light also on my list. Couldn't find it to watch. Anywho, costume design. We've got Babylon, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which I have not seen. But presumably
You know
some
what mine is?
Parisian outfits. I would go Elvis.
Oh,
Oh, what would you go?
actually, everything everywhere all at once.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I would approach
Uh,
them for very similar reasons, like the extravagant style, the
mm,
the unique quality of it. It will
yeah.
depend on whether they're rewarding, I suppose, creativity or how would you say when it authenticity? Yeah, it's whether
Hmm.
they're awarding creativity or authenticity. Because
Yeah.
for Elvis, you obviously have the historical pictures and the influence of the actual Elvis. Then you get into the creative stuff with everything everywhere, imagining this being that can travel through different worlds, imagining what people dress like in different worlds, and making sure that every single one is different. We've got Black Panther, of
Mhm.
course, and with Marvel Universe in general, there is a lot of work
Solid.
that goes
Yeah.
into creating this. But then we've seen Black Panther in the in the original as opposed to Wakanda Forever, so bit of a toss up. I'm not sure.
I would like to say Babylon, the
Hmm.
costume designs in Babylon was wonderful.
They were good. All right,
Um,
I haven't
from
seen
what
it,
I
but
remember,
yes.
yes. It's the nostalgic feeling like the 30s in
Hmm.
Hollywood, where it's insane, but there's so much content in that movie,
Hmm.
just considering costume design, that I feel like it has to be on one of the, like, it
Yeah.
has to be considered.
I know what's interesting. All Quiet on the Western Front is not nominated here. And I just
Yeah.
mentioned how not only the hair and makeup, but the costume design, making hundreds of uniforms and then specifically for the main character's uniform, putting it through
Hmm.
the different stages. That's quite the feat.
Yeah.
But, it's just more so I was just really impressed with that documentary. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a authentic or creative situation. Not that it can't be both, but there's definitely a side to be on for any film, frankly, if it's based on history or if it's creating a new type of history.
Okay. Raul says Elvis is front runner for it.
Hmm.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is so close for it. It's going to be a close race. Wakanda Forever can be the underdog. Yeah, I think in this situation, the Marvel universe is going to be the underdog.
Who
Absolutely.
knows? Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris might sweep it out from under from under us since
True,
we have
Drew might be a
punish us for not watching the film.
uh, Jenny Beavan. That's a good name.
She's a very famous costume designer, so
Yeah.
she certainly has the capabilities. It's whether
Okay,
she
that's
can
exciting.
push out the competition. I don't know.
Yeah, I hopefully let. Hey, maybe she'll like just strong arm her way up onto the
Who
stage. She
knows?
knows she deserves it.
Oscars are unpredictable for her. Okay. Oh, I will say that if you need to go to work at any
No,
point,
I don't. Mm-mm.
excellent.
We're all
On
good.
on to directing. One of the biggest awards of the night. The nominees: Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. Who are you rooting for? Actually, it's two questions. Who are you rooting for, and who do you think will win?
Ooh, okay. So my win place show is Win Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Hmm.
Place, ooh, probably the Fablemans are probably gonna knock Banshees of Inisherin off.
It's a bit tricky with Spielberg
Uh,
on that list.
yeah, and then Tar, I think gets knocked out by the Fablemans. Triangle of Sadness. Okay, so Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, and then Triangle of Sadness. That's
Hmm.
my main play show.
Triangle of Sadness might get it because of because of Cannes and because maybe
It was a wild ride.
it was a wild ride. It's a bit of a weird one to throw in there
Yeah.
because he hasn't directed much, but that's not a bad thing. Neither
No,
of
not
the
at all.
Daniels. They've directed a lot of music videos, short films, some really fascinating things actually. They directed a short film with similar themes to Everything Everywhere, where this couple has an argument and it shows variations in different worlds of how the argument goes. Fascinating.
Okay.
Really interesting
Yeah, that
work
sounds
that
pretty
they've
good.
done. But they're like the kids of the situation. They're the modern ones. They're doing interesting stuff with technology. And, you know, you hear about they did the VFX for their own film. They're the ones that are, how would you call it? How would you describe this? What am I trying to say here?
I believe in you.
Thank you. They're the like excited newbies on the block,
Okay.
I would say.
Fresh
But
fish, fresh meat.
considering, yeah, they're the fresh meat of this list, and I think they did incredibly well and might get
Yes.
it, frankly.
Okay. I love that.
Spielberg would be not. We know he's a good director. Does that mean he doesn't
Absolutely.
deserve an Oscar? No, of course he can have another one. I think how I don't know. Let me have a look.
He's had enough.
Spielberg. There's clearly a reason why people get multiple Oscars for sure. But I've always
Yeah.
been at the of the opinion that new talent should be awarded in order to boost their career.
Absolutely. I agree. I feel like if there should be a cap of Oscars that you can win. Like
So
5
he's
Oscars and then you can just show up and have dinner.
Spielberg has already won for Saving Private Ryan
Okay.
and Schindler's List.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
I
That's
don't think he's
wonderful.
gonna get it for
Yeah.
this.
I don't think so.
Unless the committee sat there and they said, God, I love Hollywood. I
How are we
love
gonna
it.
mess with the people
Throw
today?
it to Spielberg. That's the only reason it would be that the Fablemans gets a lot of the awards would be if they've really focused on the fact that it is about Hollywood. Um yeah, no, I agree. And, you know, Banshees, frankly, with the two actors and the intimacy of the film and
Mhm.
the smallness of the story, the directing 100% worthy of being awarded.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I
you
think
know,
it's a wonderful
maybe
film.
why not? That would be a nice win.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh I think the only I feel like in the same way the film being so intimate
Hmm.
uh is working against it in this lineup.
Perhaps. It's not
Uh
as big as the other ones. Even
the
Tar, it's still smaller than Tar.
yeah.
Mm. In
I
terms of
much prefer Banshees of
expansiveness.
Inisherin over Tar.
Yes. I think with Tar and Triangle of Sadness, if you guys did watch our reviews, which are also available as a podcast on most podcasting platforms, you can go back. You don't have to hear us trying to put words together. I've edited all that out. You can just
That's half the fun. What are you
just
talking
listen
about?
to the highlights. Anyway, they're also you can just listen to all of it. That's also on YouTube. But from our reviews of Tar and Triangle of Sadness, both of us were disappointed at how messy and discombobulated they felt.
Yes.
And that is likely a problem with the directing. So it is quite surprising to have them here. But they're here. I just don't think they should win compared to the other three. Four, if we
Valid.
include
Very
both of
valid.
the Daniels.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting one. Quite a mix though.
Yeah. Did you watch any of the documentaries at all?
I was about to say I have not
Nothing.
watched any of the documentary feature films, and I'm
Um,
embarrassed. I love my fiction. Not a big fan of
right?
non-fiction.
Same.
Frankly, I almost always go back and watch whichever one. but it's really not.
Yeah,
I'm not very well versed in the documentary universe in terms
very
of what's
valid.
good, where's it, I don't know what's popular, that sort of thing. So we'll have to skip that one because we know nothing. We
Yeah,
definitely not qualified to comment on this.
we could do eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I mean,
Flip a coin. Let's flip a coin. Let's have a
same
tournament. Flip coins.
same about a documentary short film. I have not watched
Yeah,
those either. Film
same.
editing. We can do film editing though. We've got
Yes.
Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
What did
Okay.
Gunnar think?
Uh, what was that, Gunner? Can you? What is it? I think that was a good sound, honestly. Uh, I think he really enjoyed Elvis. I watched Elvis last night, and he seemed to have a lot of fun with it. He was watching it from the bed.
I see. Film editing is a tricky one. I do a lot of video editing, and whenever I do it, it's the classic case of if you notice it, it's bad editing. That's the argument almost always. Because if you're sat there not focused on the story, then I haven't done my job right. If I've done some
Yeah.
weird cuts, but at the same time, with stuff like Elvis, with all of Baz Luhrmann's films, the editing is so specific,
Hmm.
especially combined with the music.
Yeah.
And equally,
Well, but the awkward moment. Was it awkward for you too? Was the transition into Doja Cat's Vegas awkward for you?
there's plenty of awkward things about Elvis. I think just from the nature of the
Oh.
story,
Yeah.
from the
Oh,
nature of
he
the
knows you're talking
story,
bad about it. See?
yeah. But equally, I wouldn't say it's less awkward than Everything Everywhere All at Once because that's still creative in a similar way. That
That's
creative
very
to
valid.
each
That's very
other,
valid.
although with Everything Everywhere, a lot of the pace is created from the jumping of the multiverse through the multiverse,
Yeah.
as opposed to an Elvis where it's connected with the music.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Equally good points of like reference when editing. So both of those I think are strong contenders. Top Gun Maverick is an interesting one because I really, really loved that film.
Okay. I
And
haven't watched it.
although I didn't mention it in Best Picture because I don't think it's gonna win, no matter how much I loved it.
Well, but they're the only ones that beat out everything over everywhere all at once.
That is true. But in terms of editing, I don't know how much was done in that editing room. I don't know how much was saved, not saved. That one
Okay.
would definitely be dependent on the subtlety because it's
Yeah.
not a noticeable edit. I just wonder how much impact it had depending on how much footage they had. Maybe some of those jokes wouldn't have worked. But I'm inclined to believe that the writing was so good that it would have stood up to worse editing. But once again,
Yeah.
I don't know what it would have looked like because we can't judge it like we can judge cinematography.
Yeah. Uh, I would love to say that Banshees of Inisherin was seamless, in my opinion.
Very true. Very true. But once again, is it
It was
seamless
just
because of the
completely smooth.
directing? Did the director? How much influence? It's always how much influence was
That's
had
very valid.
on the
Yeah.
edit because you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Equally with Everything Everywhere, out of all the things the Daniels did, they didn't edit it themselves. They did a lot of the other stuff, but they didn't edit it themselves. So I do
Okay.
wonder. But then again, how much influence did they have? I have no idea. I really don't know here.
Right. These are the right questions. We
In
just don't have the
terms of,
answers.
we don't have the answers. No, we can't tell what happened in that editing
Hmm.
room. But Elvis and Everything Everywhere All at Once seem likely because of the entertainment value of their edits,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the seamlessness of the other ones.
Yeah.
Tar,
Yeah.
I feel like if the editing is being rewarded, then something else must have gone wrong. Maybe she didn't have a lot to work with, I don't know, but
Whoever
something didn't add up there.
whoever was part of that table discussion just fell asleep.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
I do want to say that if anything is going to beat everything everywhere all at once, it's going to be edit for the editing, or Elvis for the editing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Top Gun, the thing is, Top Gun had a very interesting impact on the industry because it forced people back into the cinema.
Yeah.
I went
Yeah.
twice because I wanted my dad to see it in the cinema because I knew he'd love
Nice.
it. And I
Yeah.
could because it came out in like May or June. I watched it then, and then it was still in cinemas in October, something like that.
Nice.
It has had a phenomenal impact in terms of
Yeah.
reviving the industry still after the pandemic. So
Yeah.
perhaps it will be thrown a few wins here because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then again, Tom Cruise did win like a lifetime achievement or something like that award for bringing this film to life because without him it basically wouldn't have happened. So I understand
Okay.
that. So there has been already the acknowledgement of how important this film is. So I don't know if it's going to continue in the Oscars or just kind of just the nominations are enough.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what they pick in this one.
Hmm.
Honestly.
Yeah, me too. International feature film. Safe to say, we've only watched All Quiet on the Western Front,
The only one that matters.
and it's probably going to win, frankly.
Uh.
If it's not getting Best Picture, it's getting
Yeah.
International Feature Film.
I haven't even heard of any of these, honestly.
And I feel bad, and I should hear of these, but
Yeah.
certainly nothing has come close, including Close
No.
from Belgium. Um,
I have some stamps from Belgium. Funny enough.
I do enjoy watching foreign films, but it's hard to avoid All Quiet because it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
We discussed how important it was for the film to be on such a platform. So with the other ones, it's not they weren't as pushed, you know. So I will investigate. I will do my best to watch these films,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if another thing can win. Once again, if it doesn't get Best Picture, it has to get this.
I just want to bring up something that Raul said.
Hmm.
The thing behind Top Gun is that they shot 800 hours of footage, so editing was a big task. So people might consider it.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Especially
But I agree with you.
considering,
All Quiet on the Western Front, all the way.
Mhm. Especially with the editing for Top Gun, the fact that they had the actors shooting themselves on the cameras they specifically made to be
Okay.
in the cockpits of the actual jets. So this
Yeah.
editor had a unholy task to have to go through literally every actor going in every single time they went up in one of those jets,
Oof.
looking through like
Oof.
the reaction shots, getting the right reaction shots to when something interesting happens whilst they're fighting in the
Yeah.
sky. You know,
Yeah, that's
Rahul, excellent
crazy.
point. I'm sure the editing wasn't easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent point, for sure.
But All Quiet on the Western Front. All Quiet on the Western Front. Hands
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
I will fight until I will fight on this hill. I don't care.
It's very unlikely anything else is going to win international feature, for sure.
Yeah.
Makeup and hairstyling. We've got All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Whale. Interesting. The Whale,
I haven't seen two of these, Wakanda and the Whale.
but you have seen pictures. So with The Whale, I assume the makeup and hairstyling includes the fact that they had to put him in the bodysuit so that he is.
I heard that it was 60 pounds.
Yeah.
The bodysuit that he had to wear.
And frankly, it looked. I mean, it didn't feel fake.
Okay.
Especially, I
That's
think, in close ups, there was a very high chance that it could have felt like Brendan Fraser and then this attachment that wasn't him. But it didn't. It was super seamless.
That's wonderful to hear.
It was very impressive. Equally, All Quiet, so much mud. Once again, in the documentary helps it a lot. But in the documentary, the woman mentioned they had to consider what type of mud. Is it dusty? Is it wet? How
Yep.
will it then dry for the next scene? That's so much work.
Yeah.
So I
Uh,
understand that.
yeah. Yeah, no, the mud in All Quiet on the Western Front was gorgeous. Like
Hmm.
I it felt like I was covered in mud when I was watching that film
Absolutely.
because like just the texture of the uh mud, but
Hmm.
also for the Batman nomination,
Hmm.
I honestly do not understand why they went with uh Colin Farrell and just putting him in just really heavy makeup. I don't
Hmm.
understand for the Penguin. I honestly think that this Batman story, while Robert Pattinson did wonderfully, I think he did wonderful in that part.
Yeah.
The story is what drug him down. Absolutely, that story was horrible.
It's interesting that both the Batman, specifically Penguin, and the Whale are putting their actors in these suits for very different reasons and to achieve very different looks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Between the two of them doing very similar things, the Whale has to take it between those two in
Yeah, I
terms
can
of
agree with that.
authenticity. But will All Quiet take it because of authenticity? Maybe.
I really want All Quiet on the Western Front to win.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
Elvis, they did wonderfully on the makeup. Absolutely.
Hmm.
When he was getting up into his 30s, when he got to the older Elvis, like
Oh, yes.
him and what's his name? Whoever played Elvis, like I thought that they were just using some footage of Elvis at one point.
They did they did like I think at some point they did super like they used old
Superimposed
footage
Elvis.
and super I think so for
Okay.
some parts of it. But regardless, it's very impressive.
Yeah,
And actually
absolutely.
I also just thought about that in Elvis, what if they're also thinking about the prosthetics because Tom Hanks was in prosthetics. I didn't even
Oh,
think about it. It's the same boat as Penguin. And for some
yeah.
reason, they look very similar.
Yeah.
Not, it's not a good thing, certainly. Not for Elvis. It is not good that Tom Hanks looks slightly like Penguin.
Yeah. I honestly Tom Hanks as Colonel Park is looks more like the Penguin than Colin Farrell looked like in the movie,
Yeah.
the Batman. I honestly like I didn't see that character as the Penguin at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
It just felt like they threw it together and they did the basest story that they could,
Yeah.
and like it had um oh, I don't know the word.
It's
Skip.
hard. No, I get it. It's just in which case I will put the Batman with Elvis and say that the Whale would still win over that. And with Black Panther, the thing is they do some very fascinating things in terms of tribal tattoos and what's it called? Body
Scarification.
the modifications that people in
Mm-hmm.
some tribes do like under their skin. So they recreated that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that that's very difficult, especially once again um to make it look realistic. So it's an interesting mix because Wakanda Forever is up here for very different reasons than All Quiet in terms of
Yeah.
makeup and hairstyling. But if we're talking about prosthetics, the Whale would take it if that's what they're looking at. But yeah, I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
problem. We can't really tell what they are awarding here. Obviously, the nominations provide a variety of congrats, that looked really good. But
Yeah.
there's really no all of these could win for different reasons.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And yes, Neo, I agree. Tom Hanks was very uncanny valley because I literally in my review said, I know that's Tom Hanks. You can't just hide him from me with a nose. That's Tom Hanks.
Wilson.
That's just him. I can't watch a film and not think that's
Um,
Tom. He's so anyway. That's besides the point. Let's move on.
can I get sidetracked while
Sure.
you were getting sidetracked? Have you watched Castaway?
I have.
Okay, that's all. Move on.
I
I
yeah,
can talk to you about
don't
it later.
worry,
I
I
just
know
needed
your
to know the
reference.
answer.
Yeah, yeah. Music, original score. We've got All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and The Fablemans. What was the music like in Babylon? Because I haven't watched it. Well, the score.
Oh,
The score very specifically as opposed to a
wow.
song.
I honestly didn't even pay attention to the score because I was so overwhelmed. From what I remember though, it was within the time frame. It felt fine. I didn't have any bad feelings about it at all for the score. I never stopped and thought like, oh my god, this is like it didn't feel awkward at all
Yeah.
at any of the times.
I
So it was
think,
pretty seamless.
in which case I would put Banshees with that as well. It was not a thing that we noticed very overtly as being, oh, the score's
Mm.
so interesting. It was more so it carried the film well. The Fablemans, probably similar. There was a few whimsical moments. I think the Fablemans was more interesting when she was playing piano. And it was diegetic, so it was in the scene. And that had more impact on me than the score did. But All
Sure.
Quiet, on the other hand, we both, like we discussed in our review, how much All Quiet had a very memorable score.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in the opening. I think I might take
They
it.
use the score to their advantage
Mm-hmm.
100%. Um for sir sir, are you okay? What are you doing?
Yeah, Rahul, I haven't watched Babylon. It's on my list once again, but
It's a lot. Like I'm not like, oh, it's a lot. Just like make sure you have a drink, make sure you have snacks,
okay.
and then like make sure you stop in the middle of it and do some jumping jacks or something.
Okay.
Like that's the only way that you can efficiently get through that one.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying it's bad, just saying it's overwhelming.
Yes. And Everything Everywhere, I frankly don't remember the score. So I
Sucked
wonder.
into a bagel.
Yeah.
They made a whole song, the bagel song. That's the only thing that I remember for score wise, though.
But then is the bagel song the original song that's nominated for music original song? Is it? I don't know what it was actually called.
What's the?
This Is a Life.
Ooh,
Because
I don't know.
they didn't have more
I
than one
assume.
song in there, did they? No, it was the bagel song.
Yeah, it was just the bagel. What do you need, dog? Come here. Come here.
He heard bagel and was like, I'm in.
I'm hungry.
Let's have a look. Bagel song, Everything Everywhere.
Yeah,
Sucked
I'm
into
looking
a
up everything
bagel.
overall.
From Sun. Oh, interesting. So
Jobu Dupaki? That was a song?
it comes up as song and lyrics by Sun Lux. So Sun Lux is the one that's nominated for original score. Yeah. So Sun Lux is nominated for the original score, so that's rewarding the bagel song as well as part of the score, because the lyrics were also this person's doing. So maybe are we talking whimsy? Maybe a whimsy award, because that's what the score was with a song that's about a bagel, Can't get more creative than that.
Very true. I think they're one of the top runners for it.
Perhaps. With that in mind, if it's not based on song but the entirety of it, then maybe. All Quiet, though, is who I would want to wanted.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. It
really,
had the most distinctive score
yes.
out of these choices.
Especially as we mentioned with All Quiet, the fact that there are so many war films, so it's quite difficult to have a unique sound for a war film. And it did it. It's pretty unique.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, in terms of music original song, we have Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, which I have not watched, Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, Lift Me Up from Wakanda Forever, Natu Natu from RRR, and This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I
Uh,
think Natu Natu is going to take it.
Natu Natu is what they're going to be performing at
And
the
I
Oscars. Also,
I think they're gonna take it. It was
yeah, I can believe that. Absolutely.
just to reward the film a bit, because
I
it
mean, the oh my
needs a bit
god, the
more.
production value in that movie
Good
was
God.
mind blowing, right?
And it's
Did
such
you
a
like
fun
sit back and think
song.
about it? Because like I was sitting back just watching that movie, like, oh my god.
Hmm. I hope so. I hope it
The
wins.
production was wonderful. Oh my god.
I hope it
I
wins for
hope they
sure.
win something. Absolutely.
Because, like, Hold My Hand in Top Gun, very emotional song. Really enjoyed it. Lady Gaga is great. But, she had her moment with the Bradley Cooper film.
La La Land.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, the other one.
Oh.
La La Land is Ryan Gosling.
Oh, that's Emma Stone, isn't it?
Bradley Cooper. Wait,
Bradley
no.
Cooper and
Yeah,
Emma.
Bradley
Emma.
Cooper and Lady Gaga were in What About the Artist? Anyway, she had her moment.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't think
Agreed.
this was the best song she's made for a film, and yeah, I hope it will be Natu Natu. A Star is Born, yes,
Star
Neo,
is
thank you.
Born. Yep. Yep. The real, the real MVP here.
Yes.
Neo.
All right, we've done Best Picture, which means we are on to production design. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of
Yeah.
Water, Babylon, Elvis, and The Fablemans. This is pretty
Ooh.
tricky, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Fablemans and Babylon, similar deal. Though the Fablemans, they do travel across country, so there is that. But All Quiet is a fascinating. Like the behind the scenes is fascinating, but I'm not sure it's not the most interesting production design for a war film that I've seen.
That's very valid. Yeah. I can agree with that.
Avatar
No. I'm sorry. No.
Avatar is so virtual that I find it difficult to justify this one winning.
Please don't let Avatar win.
Now, Elvis, though, my God, without the production design, this would be nothing. Because
Yeah.
Elvis is a huge character, and to match it with the design, to make that world feel so rich and colorful and
Mhm.
embedded in the character, that would be my choice,
Okay.
personally.
Um, sorry, can you just remind me of, was it production? Right? Production
Production design.
design. Um, ooh. So I think um can you give me 1 second? I'm sorry.
Neo, yes, 4 period movies, one
Sorry.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
And Babylon, I
Um
just haven't seen it, but I expect it's quite big. And
it's big. They created elephant butt to poop out of. They made one of those, I'm pretty sure. Um so I mean they might be a contender.
I see how I see how they could get it. Certainly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think with
They
Baz
went
Luhrmann,
over and yeah, they went above and beyond for Babylon
I see.
in every sense.
I just think, yeah, Baz Luhrmann has historically nailed this part of filmmaking.
Yeah.
He knows what he
Yeah.
wants, and he's worked with. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure Catherine Martin is his wife. There is there is no closer bond than living with the person doing your production design. But let me check.
Yeah.
Catherine Australia. Yeah, she's an Australian costume designer. Unless they've just been working for so long that they should be married. You know what I mean? No,
Yeah.
I'm right.
Yeah.
They are married.
Nice. Good call.
Yeah. So they are so on the same page that they married one another, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Elvis is great,
Hey, when it
frankly.
works, it works. You
Yeah.
know?
We'll see. There is merit to each of these films. I would be very
Absolutely.
surprised to see Avatar take it, though. That's the only one that really stands out as not really production design.
I agree with Raul.
Hmm.
Babylon for the win. All Quiet on the Western Front is close. I really hope that All Quiet on the Western Front wins, but
Hmm.
Babylon might be enough.
Yeah.
The just the outrageous production that they did for that movie might just get it.
Yeah. I think with All Quiet, my only issue is that it's not a unique thing they're doing. You know, it's a war that's very well
Yeah.
documented, and yes, it was great, but is it
Mhm.
as interesting as the other ones? Maybe not.
That's valid. That's
Maybe it's
valid.
more hair and makeup or costume or something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see which direction they decide to go in.
Yeah.
We'll skip the short films because we
Yeah.
haven't seen them. Short films are notoriously difficult to get a hold of, which is unfortunate. I am making a short film. If you guys didn't know, feel
Did
free to
not.
check it out. I have a short on the YouTube channel, and otherwise, all the
Ooh.
information is on TikTok, on Twitter.
Go watch it. Go watch it, guys.
You can also help me make it. I know, humble self promo here, but you can help me make it through
Do it.
Kickstarter.
Promo yourself, dude.
But on the topic of short films, yes, they are quite devious. If they're not just on YouTube, they do. It's a bit difficult to find because if they're nominated for something, they can't just be outright released. In any case,
Yeah.
we don't know what to say about them. So, how many do we have left? We've got 2 writing, sound, and visual effects. We can do it. Let's do it. All
Yeah.
right.
We're almost there.
Sound. All Quiet on the Western Front.
Hands down.
Avatar: The Way of Water.
No.
The Batman. Elvis
No.
and Top Gun Maverick. So, with sound, it's important to note that it's everything apart from the score.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that is diegetic, as in the scene, not in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the score, music, nothing like that. Only
Mm-hmm.
the sounds of the film.
Yes.
So, what do you think? What are you
All
thinking?
Quiet on the Western Front. Hands down. I don't care. Elvis is a contender. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Elvis being a contender. It's going to be between All Quiet on the Western Front
Ooh.
and Elvis for me. I'm not sure what's in Top Gun sound wise.
So,
I
Top Gun,
assume it's good.
action film. We've got the
Mhm.
flying, the jets, the explosions,
Yeah.
the immersion into being in a jet with someone. That's what it's gonna like. That's why it was nominated, I think, because
Yeah.
so much of the sound has to be recreated in post because you record stuff like a jet lifting off, but to make it actually immersive in a cinema takes some work. To make it
Yeah.
so that, like we mentioned in terms of not being able to hear stuff properly, action films
Yeah. Yeah.
notorious for that.
Yeah. We were talking about that with Tar, funny enough.
Yeah, Tar, who shouldn't have had a problem, who does
Nope.
not have fighter pilots in the sky and explosions. But no, they did really well with creating that immersion and like, oh my god, the rumble in a cinema, the rumble of those jets
Mhm.
coming on,
I bet that was amazing.
it's
I bet it
great.
was amazing in theaters.
Certainly.
So, how many people have $5,000 surround sound setups
I
at
would
their
be
house
interested.
that can be immersive.
I haven't watched Top Gun at home, but I wonder how it translates, frankly.
I would love to hear if you ever
I
do
would
watch
be
it again at
interested.
home.
I should. That's an interesting question because it was super
Yeah,
immersive in cinemas, but might not have had the same effect. But
yeah,
then All Quiet, certainly immersive at home.
so immersive.
But we were reading subtitles, so what impact does that have on it?
I don't think much,
Because I could hear
honestly.
everything, frankly. I could hear the German even if I didn't understand, like I didn't understand
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think the emotion that they brought through their voices and all of that,
Yes.
and the sound work on this movie was impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
I am I am known to pick apart some like sounds in movies a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the time, and honestly, I didn't like nothing bothered me with All Quiet on the Western Front at
Yeah.
all.
That's very good. I think Avatar, too easy. I
Yeah,
know that they created literally everything because they recorded almost nothing live. But it also means that it was less important to get it right the first time because they could just re-record the sounds. And I'm not saying that doesn't require a heck of a lot of work. Certainly it does. But it's a bit trickier when you already have the film shot. So with Top Gun Maverick, you have the action sequence and it would be nothing without the sound.
yeah,
Because you can't hear the actors. So they re-recorded all of that. You can't hear the
yeah,
actors in the actual planes. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
yeah.
Batman and Elvis, I have nothing particular to say. I did
They were
enjoy
fine.
Batman for similar reasons in terms of the immersion of the action, but since it's set in Gotham, it's a
Hmm.
more of city sounds background sort of situation as opposed to being
Yeah,
the thing that sells the film. It's not.
yeah.
It's not really.
To answer Neo's question, I use headphones. I have Sennheisers, but and that's how I mostly watch movies
Hmm.
now. It's how I honestly prefer it. Um, but I've gone through all of the like
All of the stages of grief.
all of the stages. I've gone through it all. Like my brother has an insane surround sound system, so whenever I go up there, I watch uh I watch whatever. Like I remember I watched was it Split?
Oh,
Uh
that'll be a good one. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it was magnificent. It was one of the best movies I had seen at the time.
Hmm. For me,
But
because I spend most of my day wearing headphones, I try to not wear headphones, so I watch the TV, in which case my speakers are the TV speakers.
okay.
But interestingly, yeah, my brother-in-law has these huge speakers,
Hmm.
and he used to live here, and so when the huge speakers were connected as the same TV, it created a much different sound, especially with the subwoofer, because you could feel the vibrations a bit more.
Yeah.
So certainly I am losing quite a lot. But that's why I
Yeah.
was so impressed with All Quiet, because I did watch it at home and I still got everything. Well,
It
okay,
hits you with a minimal.
I probably didn't get everything because I wasn't in a cinema, but I still felt the experience of the sound was enjoyable and immersive and contributed to the film.
That movie sucked me in so much. It was
Absolutely.
ridiculous.
So even though you watched it with headphones and I watched it TV,
Well,
back
okay,
facing speakers, but
the first time I watched All Quiet on the Western Front, I watched it on a TV because I was house sitting. Funny
yes.
enough. So the two times I watched it the first time, it was when I was house sitting, and then like 2 weeks later, I think I showed one of my friends Pepper it, I believe.
Hmm.
And then I was wearing my headset. So both ways, the with my headset was ridiculous. When I watched it, it was the best way to watch it. Absolutely. Uh, at
It
least for me, I think I would rather that have that over. theater sometimes,
Yeah.
honestly.
It is a great question, absolutely, because it's
Hmm.
for this specifically, it's very important. But equally,
Yeah.
cinematography, I mean, not really cinematography, but the color grading of a
Yes.
film, very affected by what kind of
So
settings you have on
good.
your
Oh my
TV.
god.
How much are you on night mode? Why is it all orange? I sometimes forget to switch off night mode.
That's
And I'm like,
valid.
why is this
Valid.
so like sepia toned? Weird choice. No, that's me. But no, it's 100% a great question because you never know what someone,
Yeah,
how someone,
absolutely.
you see people watching films on the subway on their phones with like some shitty
Hmm.
headphones.
Yeah.
And there's that running joke of how Christopher Nolan intended you to watch something, and people are putting it on like Apple Watches, stuff like that, and it's hilarious. I do really enjoy those memes, but but
Yeah.
definitely it really affects it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I tech savvy? I would say both of us are fairly tech savvy. We we've been streaming on Twitch for quite a while. I have
I
a
mean, I have an IT cert,
well, there you go,
technically.
and I have I would say a sick setup over here. Just saying. Got my
Mhm.
computer, got my streaming PC, got all sorts of cables hidden from
Yeah.
view. But in terms of my film setup, not great, I have to admit. Gaming, I'm
Um,
there. No,
I
my
have
TV not too good.
yeah. I have a well, I don't know what my brother says that it does something. I don't know what it's called though. It's not a splitter. But it's the shit Magni and Modi that I hook up to my headset for the directional or whatever, I
Oh,
believe.
yeah. I think I should probably get
Hmm.
some speakers for my TV, frankly.
Uh yeah.
What am
I
I
mean
doing
even a
about it?
sound bar would be good.
But I almost always go to the cinema, though. That's the thing. If it's in cinemas,
Oh,
I
that's
will watch it
valid.
in
Yeah.
cinemas.
I would just get a cheap pair of pretty solid
Maybe.
speakers then.
Maybe I'll
Yeah.
consider it. Shall we move
Yeah.
on to visual effects?
Yeah.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Hands down.
Avatar. The Batman. Wakanda Forever and Top Gun Maverick. It's probably going to go to Avatar, let's be honest. 9 years on that film.
Can't we just ignore it?
they,
Like the first one should have been one and done.
well, yes, but we can criticize the film. But if the one thing that we can say without a doubt that was phenomenal in it is the VFX. There is just no.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
a film without the VFX.
I guess.
Though it's interesting. When I was doing my Top Gun review, I researched the very simple VFX they used in order to
Mhm.
because when they sent their pilots up in the well their actors up in the jets, they had a pilot in the front seat, and then they VFX them out. And like the planes they used for the enemy, they VFX the color and the stripes to make it the enemy
Okay.
planes. It was all very subtle because
Yeah, that sounds intensive
the
though.
thing about Tom Cruise is that he wanted everything to be authentic. So there's no green screen. It's not that kind of
Okay.
film. So there's that.
Yeah. I do respect him for that.
But obviously if
Uh,
if you're comparing it to the amount of work the VFX people on Avatar had to do to make that film, I understand why they would win it. 100%.
yeah.
Shall we go to writing? Adapted
Writing.
screenplay.
Okay, this is gonna be a tough one.
So, adapted usually from a book. All
Yeah.
Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, Living, Top Gun Maverick, and Women Talking. Now, I was not aware that Glass Onion is an adapted screenplay. What is it adapted from? Let's have a
Uh,
little look.
I think somebody told me, but I completely forgot.
Oh, I love the when you know the suggested searches on Google. I wrote
Mm-hmm.
Glass Onion adapted screenplay, and the first one that came up was why? Why adapted screenplay?
Why?
Is it just Agatha Christie?
Asking the questions.
Are we saying it's adapted because of that? That's not really.
I don't know.
Essentially places all sequels in the adapted category. So that's why Top Gun is there. Also, because it's a sequel.
Okay.
So it's adapted from the original. Well, that seems stupid.
Okay. Yeah.
Frankly, I'm just eliminating Top Gun and Glass Onion, even though Top Gun is the best sequel I've ever seen in terms of staying true to the original, building on the story, and not messing it up.
Okay.
But actually adapting a book, a entirely different format of literature, into a film, I would say is far more deserving of the award.
Yeah.
Nomination's fine. Give it, if it's a good sequel, nominate it. But
Yeah.
adapting All Quiet, adapting it from Edward, Edward Berger adapted it from the book, which is the most famous German book in history, one of the most infamous, and making it, even though it's already been seen, even though it's something we know and people have read and it's so important, and not messing it up, amazing work, frankly, for that adaptation.
Yeah.
Um,
I personally loved how the Glass Onion was written.
Me too.
Uh, sir, sir.
He also loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. He says, let's go, let's win, all quiet on the Western Front.
And also, Rahul says women talking. Women talking is an interesting one because I haven't read it, and I think that would very much affect what I think of the adaptation. Because I'm sure the book was chonky in terms of the amount of talking that occurred and descriptions, and then make it into a film where you don't get the relief of those descriptions. Like when you're reading a book and the book has to describe this person went that way, did this, they got meals ready and stuff like that. It's a great break. But in the film, it's so much discussion that I do very much see the value of what the screenwriter did in making it palatable from type of one type of media to another. If that makes sense. You're muted.
Sorry, Gunner. So I think that All Quiet on the Western Front, I've been saying it since I watched it. I think that
Yeah.
they should win all the awards.
I do agree. I think
Yeah.
it's well deserved. Living is not exactly a sequel, but it's based on a Japanese film, and the story is exactly the same. So basically, the adaptation element of it is adapting from one language to another, and
Okay.
from Tokyo to London. It's set in London. And it's fine. It is fine, but the actual story was nothing new happened apart from the language. It was a decent translation to London, but once again, I would say of all of these nominees, All Quiet and Women Talking are the standouts for me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. Absolutely.
In which case, let's move to writing original screenplay, the last one on the list. And we have The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. Thoughts?
Um, Triangle of Sadness was an original. I think that could. I think you could You could safely say that
Well,
with
that is one way to say it. Yes.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Uh, I think that has more of a chance of winning than Tar, but also I'm biased with Tar. We know
Hmm.
this.
Yes,
Uh, Everything Everywhere All at Once, hands down, I think in this category.
most
Fablemans
probably.
comes like second, Banshees third, then Triangle Sadness, then Tar.
Right. I
That's how
also
I'm.
agree. I agree about Triangle of Sadness and Tar. And going back to our reviews of them, I just think the lack of consistency really harms them. So they had interesting moments, but overall not the best of the group. The Fablemans, I loved that it's based on Spielberg's life, which probably makes it easier to write.
Yeah.
And I loved what was written. We mentioned all those details, like the nails clacking on the piano, all those things that made it feel genuine, like
Yeah.
lived in spaces, actual experiences. Sure, basically, maybe it should be awarded adapted screenplay for adapting Spielberg's life, you know? Like
Yeah.
that's the direction that one's going in for me. Everything
Mm.
Everywhere is certainly one of the most unique things that's come out of cinema, and
In
certainly in the
why?
multiverse sphere, it does well to distance itself from other multiverse stuff because
Well,
it's popular.
because yeah, it became very popular around the
Yeah.
time that it came out because that's when the new Beavis and Butthead came out, and there's multiverse in that even.
Well, yeah, because of Marvel, multiverse became the hot topic. Not that there wasn't. The thing is, I listed in a video, I did list other multiverse films. I was trying to, I made a video going over what the multiverse is. And for that, I did research a lot of different films. So it's not a new topic, it's just a very fresh one currently. But yeah, you can't say it's not unique. It's certainly an interesting take on it, and it's far less about the multiverse, uh, like as a tool. Because in Marvel, it's
Hmm.
just a tool. You know, it gets people to places and fixes problems.
Yeah.
Whilst in this, it creates problems for them, and I think it was well used. Bilbo, can I please
Yeah.
have my microphone back? Thank you very much.
It was very I just had the word for it. This is my life now.
That's all right.
Is it?
Happens to me all
Uh
the time.
yeah, I think Banshees of Inisherin, this is one of um the the lists that they would be on top for other than Everything Everywhere All at Once. If Everything Everywhere All at Once wasn't there, I would totally vote for Banshees.
100%. And I think
Yeah.
Rahul's right. I think it would be very sad to see Banshees go home empty handed just because of the fierce competition. Um,
Yeah.
but if there's anything they go home with, this would be it for me, I guess. This would be it because the writing was
Yeah.
amazing. The writing,
Yeah.
the satire was great in it. It wasn't too forceful. The way they incorporated the history on the other side, the way they
Mhm.
just pitched the premise, the fact that two people, one of them doesn't want to be friends because the other one's
Yeah.
boring. Great. How do you
Yeah.
make that entertaining? They made it entertaining.
Absolutely.
So, and especially since it's also written by the director. So, the director is unlikely to win Best Picture and Directing. So, maybe, at least, give it something. I hope it doesn't go home empty handed, but
Uh, hey Raphael, why do you think that Everything Everywhere All at Once was dull? Do you think it was just because it just felt too long?
I don't disagree with Raphael. I think that it is silly and will certainly
Yeah.
appeal to specific types of audience,
Yeah.
you know? I will say that actually I do agree that Maverick was incredibly well written, and I suppose that's why it's an adapted screenplay because I can't fault it as a sequel. very well written. But everything everywhere, like there needs to be a mixture of types of screenplays.
Yeah.
And certainly if you're invested in it, if you liked the sausage fingers and talking rocks, because they made me
Yeah.
smile. I had my problems with the film. I did not make it my number
Same.
one, though people certainly wanted me to for my top 10 films. I made Top Gun Maverick number one, but because of how
It's
it made
valid.
me specifically feel. So I understand Raphael not enjoying everything everywhere, but I can't deny that the writing, I can't say I've seen it before, you know?
I agree with you, Raphael. The I did feel like the movie did drag on, and like right before each transition into the new or everything everywhere and all at once, each transition like leading up to it, the the last like 10 minutes felt empty, or like last 5 minutes felt empty, kind of. Do you know what I
Certainly.
mean?
Raphael, how do you know it's better than the original if you never saw the
I'm right. Hey, I'm right there with you. I've never seen it, but better than the original.
Listen, you're not missing out. Just watch the new one. New one's great.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yes, feel free to watch my review of Everything Everywhere for my full thoughts on it. But
Yeah.
that's the thing with the Oscars. A lot of these films, they're not perfect, and also the subject matter or the genre is not going to appeal to everyone. But yeah, with what we have, we've given our predictions, tried our best,
Yeah.
and it's a lot about just predicting what they're gonna do based on how they've done with every single other awards show,
Hmm.
and but you never know, because like I remember, was it last year or the year before when the Black Panther actor was meant to win Best Actor, and they prepped it.
Mm.
They moved Best Actor as the final award instead of Best Picture, and then Anthony Hopkins won. And
Oh.
Anthony Hopkins is great. He well
Yeah.
deserved.
Absolutely.
But even the people planning the Oscars didn't predict that one correctly. So
Yeah.
yes, Raphael, it's on my list. I couldn't find it. It's meant to come out in cinemas, and it hasn't yet. So that's the only unfortunate thing about some of these films, depending on where they're being released. I can't always find them. Um, but yeah, that's one of the ones that's still on my list to watch.
You're correct, Raul. The older voters are totally gonna probably vote for Top Gun.
Mm-hmm. Or The
Uh.
Fablemans. That's
Yeah.
the like curveball of this list, frankly. The
Yeah.
Fablemans might pick up a few that we did not expect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful movie, but the only thing that I think has kept me from voting for it is that it just felt like a cookie cutter. Like it felt like a cookie cutter film to him halfway. Like yeah, it was filled with emotion and nostalgia and everything, but also it kind of felt like,
Mm,
his standard.
100%. It's
Yeah. It
Spielberg.
wasn't
You're
huge.
never gonna get. He's a great. Like, even his less popular films are still great films. That's the thing. Like, we
Yeah,
can't deny it's a good
absolutely.
film. And it's certainly one of my favorites from his career. So
Hmm.
we'll see. We'll see if they pat themselves on the back for a Hollywood film about Hollywood. Or if it's going to be more of the let's congratulate this German film for doing
Yeah.
interesting things
Yeah.
for cinema. Let's congratulate this weird little multiverse film. You never know. You really don't know where
Right.
it's going to go, or, who's going to be on that committee like, yeah, maybe we should give them something different this. Or whether it will be just a bunch of people who are just rewarding the same people for the same reasons that they do every year. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I'm excited to see how it ends up, honestly. I haven't been paying attention to the award circle since I was like 15.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first year that I've been like actively following it, and I'm pretty excited to see which ones come up where.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oscar reactions is probably going to be our next video, frankly. I guess to finish this series, we might as
yeah,
well
I'll have
do
to
it
say
next
that.
week because the Oscars are on Sunday, the 12th, which
Okay.
for me is actually Monday, 1 a.m. So I'm
Okay.
gonna be hard pressed watching that.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
am not sure. I tried to figure out if I could maybe live stream whilst watching it, but I don't think we can coordinate ourselves that well. And
I
also,
mean,
I'm
we
not
might
sure
be
if I
able
can
to.
find it.
We can maybe figure it out.
Depends, because it's on it's on TV, and I don't. I
Yeah.
only
Yeah,
have
I need to
subscription
figure it out
stuff.
too. Same.
I don't
Same.
subscribe to an actual TV channel, so it might be a bit
I
tricky
see
for me.
we're both in the same boat.
Yeah. So perhaps,
Hmm.
if not on the streaming, if not during the ceremony, then we'll probably do a let's talk about what
Reaction.
happened film
Yeah.
analysis.
Yeah.
Monday,
That sounds
5:30. The
wonderful.
Rahul, that's pretty doable. Wake up a bit earlier, drink your coffee with the opening ceremony.
Oof.
You know, why not?
Yeah.
But
That could be a
1 a.m.
good way
for
to wake
me,
up.
I'm just gonna want to go to bed. That's my problem. Just be there.
Jason's gonna have to get all hyped up on caffeine.
I'm gonna have to drink a lot of energy drinks. All right. Well, wow, we've done a beast of a stream today, almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
But listen,
we
we
had a
got
lot to
through
talk
them.
about. Yeah.
There's a lot of films here.
Yeah, a lot of talent. A lot of talent. A lot of beautiful films.
Yes. And once again, the Oscars is not the measure of what is a good film, but it's a
Yeah.
good guide. Any film festival is a good guide, frankly.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, then there's always going to be a film festival. Like you love horror films, there's plenty of festivals tailored to specific genres. It's fun. I like
Yeah.
going to them. Sometimes you
Yeah.
see something that will truly scar you for life, but sometimes you see some indie films that have a lot of meaning. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it is hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. Can we just watch the highlights?
The highlights. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
The
We of
highlights.
course can watch the highlights. That'll be bit.
Because Raphael is correct.
It was fun talking to you too, Rahul. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming by, guys.
This
I
is
love talking about movies.
me too.
I
And
really
don't
enjoy
forget,
this.
all of our live streams are available on the YouTube channel. And for those who cannot spend 40 minutes with us, then they are also available in like about 10-minute episodes as podcasts on whatever podcast platform you enjoy. You can do
Yeah.
that as well, instead, or as well, preferably as well.
Do both. Do both.
Yeah, do both. And like I said, don't forget to check us out on Twitter, TikTok, fun stuff, fun places. Always Tea Break Film Reviews. And I actually have a letterboxd as well, where I keep track of all the films I've been watching. Highly recommend that
Ooh.
website. I'm not sponsored,
Nice.
but it's literally the only way I remember what I've watched. So
That's
I
valid.
post on there as well.
Okay. Okay.
I do highly recommend. If you don't have a way to track, that's the way.
Yeah, I have been. I've never paid attention to what movies I've seen. I just kind of. I can't tell you how many times. Like, I'm a huge proponent of zombie films. I love zombie films. It's like my comfort area.
I see.
And just God.
I send you
So,
a link to the letterbox one. Might as well
but
send it to you guys.
I've sent or I can get this. I can get this out. I've watched multiple movies like 5 times because like I'm halfway through the movie and I'm like, wait a second. I've seen this.
Yeah, I
Cannot tell you
think
how
it was
often.
it was when that happened to me that I finally put my foot down and decided I would figure
Very
something out.
valid. Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Wait a second, how do I... I'm just gonna post the Kickstarter. 1 second. Yes, it was very fun chatting.
Yeah.
And after the Oscars, we're free. We're free to talk about whatever films we want to
Free.
talk about.
Oh wow, we gotta make a what are we gonna
We gotta
watch?
hunker down and figure stuff out.
Oh god.
Okay, here is the link. Yes, for those of you who missed it earlier in the stream, I'm making a short film, and you guys can help me make it. So feel free to click that Kickstarter link. I promise it's not spam. it's not viruses.
Click on the link.
It's just Kickstarter.
Just do it.
But yes, making a film, very excited about it. That is why I haven't made any real videos. But I think I really enjoy this format anyway, of doing live streams instead of I will do some real YouTube content another time, but you can, yes, I believe so. Or what it'll do is it'll just convert it. So however much you want to donate in your pledge in your currency, it'll convert it. But also there's a lot of rewards. So you can get a shout out, you can get an actual credit in the credits of the film, and some other fun stuff. So yes, any help is much appreciated, and even if you can't pledge, sharing it, friends and family, the powerhouse that is Facebook, whatever you can do.
Yeah.
Everything is appreciated. Thank you so much for watching and joining us. And we hope you enjoy the Oscars, and we hope we enjoy the Oscars, frankly.
Yeah.
After all of this, the amount of work we put through for these Best Picture nominees.
What kind of drama do you think is gonna happen this year
I don't know.
at the Oscars?
Jimmy Kimmel's pretty safe, but I don't think he's going to do any racy
people
jokes.
thought Will Smith was safe too.
Well, yeah, but we'll see.
All I'm saying.
I'm excited to see what people come dressed in, because some of these actors have been coming out in the most fascinating outfits I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That is part and parcel of the show, I think.
I only know about the Machine Gun Kelly side of things.
Well, how especially for the really tight dresses, where they're like, I can't walk up these stairs. How will I collect my award? That always makes me giggle when they're like wobbling around.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
I do enjoy it.
Fashion. Did you see the clip of Colin Farrell jumping up to help Jennifer Coolidge to the stage?
Oh yes.
Yeah, shooting his shot. My guy.
Yeah, this is the wholesome stuff we want. No slapping, no thank you.
No slaps.
No slaps, just wholesome Jennifer Coolidge content, please.
Yeah.
Frankly,
why isn't Jennifer Coolidge hosting?
That should. Oh my god, you're a genius. The Academy Awards.
We need to get somebody on this.
Get our best people on it. Let's make it happen.
Call your people right now. Oh, if only.
If only.
I'm so glad that she's getting the recognition.
Yes, the infamous tumble. Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
You know, Jennifer's in general, great.
Yeah.
They have a good track record.
I was reading an article the other day. She came out with there's an article written about her saying, like mentioning why she left, like the big screen.
Yeah.
And all that. It was pretty interesting.
All right. Well, thank you once again for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a lovely rest of your days. And we hope... That was very dark, actually. I meant days as in plural because I didn't know if it's a day or an evening. But I really went very in the future with that.
You better be fans of us until you die.
Yeah, Neo has it. Okay, bye.
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 Bye.